When building characters and teams, many of us chase for high crit stats and crit ratios. Have you spent way too much resin grinding for that perfect artifact? Well, in that case, I actually have good news for you because in this video, we'll cover why chasing these optimal builds and stats is not always the best move, especially for free-to-play and budget characters. And later on in this video, we will check out how exactly to clear Spiral Abyss with these budget teams. First, let's understand why people chase for these perfect stat characters. Take a look at this clip from the Abyss Floor 12 Chamber 2. Isn't it beautiful how this Xiao can just output those 40k figures? Amazing, but how is this 5-star character budget at all? Well, most people think budget as 4-star units or standard 5-star characters. But today we have a better way to define budget. Budget to me is being resourceful and using what you already have to its maximum potential. Even as a free-to-play, you're bound to get a few 5 stars here and there. What you might not have though are the best in-slot artifacts. This is because it takes very long to farm a fully optimized set, especially if you need a 4-piece set like the Crimson Witch set for Klee, for example. This might take you months. But are there any entry-level alternatives? The good news is there are, and there are a lot of them. Now, we'll get into budget team ideas, and the first budget team we have is a hyper carry team. The way this team works is simple. You have a hyper carry with the best in-slot pretty much everything, and then you have 3 supporting characters that don't need high investment. For instance, my Burnett and Xiangling here don't even have max level artifacts, and they definitely have very poor stats and ratios, and they can't be doing any damage. But this team doesn't require them to do damage, that's the thing. They just need a bunch of energy to cast their utility skills so that Xiao can maintain his damage. Usually, Hyper Carry is a main DPS character, so you can check out this video to better understand each role in a team. So now, the pros and cons of this budget team format. So this team is simple to adopt and use because you only need to heavily invest in one character to achieve that close to 100% damage output. And the reason why it's so simple is because the only character that you really need to focus on is your main DPS hyper carry character. In my case, it's Xiao, and the rest of the team is just for supports. So as you may have noticed, most of my supports are at Ascension 5 or even Ascension 4 sometimes, including their weapons. So this team is also very Mora and experience book friendly because you don't need to be very high level for your support characters. They just need to have the maybe Ascension 4 for the passive, let's say. Also, the choice of supports tend to be flexible because these some hyper carries don't require very specific supports. Like for example, for Xiao, you can feed him in almost any team. With that, let's move on to the cons. So maxing that hyper carry character can take time and is very dependent on artifact luck. So if you just get super unlucky with your artifacts and you just cannot maximize your hyper carry, then this team won't work. Also, this is an underrated point, but the hyper carry must be someone that you are comfortable with using. For example, although I have Gan Yu and she is a very popular choice for a hyper carry character, but I don't feel exactly that comfortable using her as much as I am comfortable with using Xiao. So therefore you need to enjoy and you need to understand the character very well for hyper carry. The second budget team that I want to highlight is the Taser team. So instead of dishing out consistent big numbers from a single source like in the Xiao format, this team focuses on a lot of small numbers that just add up from Electro Charge and Swirls. So if you got Electro characters just chilling, you might want to consider using these teams. The variant I use here is the Shogun, Beidou, Sucrose and Xingqiu, but any combination of Sucrose plus Electro and Hydro pretty much work as well. A common one is Beidou, Fischl, Xingqiu and Sucrose. Yeah, so it's made popular because it's a full 4-star team that can dish out high DPS to like large groups of enemies. So the beauty of this team is that none of them require crit stats per se. Beidou and Yeah, Beidou is using trash artifacts here, and Shogun relies on elemental recharge mainly, while Sucrose relies on elemental mastery, and Xingqiu mainly relies on energy recharge and a little bit of hydro damage bonuses. So none of them actually have conflicting stats that they are chasing for, and the beauty of this is that none of them actually require crit stats, if you realize. In this team, my Beidou and Barbara they're just using trash artifacts, and Sucrose is using a non-maxed 4-piece Viridescent Venerer. You don't need it to be maxed, you just need to have some level of elemental mastery. In my case, I have her at 500 elemental mastery, which is not exactly very high because people can get their elemental mastery to 1000. Yeah, and the only person that has her artifacts at max is Shogun, where her build is complete. So if you're using Fischl instead, you don't even need the best in-slot artifacts of on Fischl, or even max level ones. Okay, now that we've understand how the team works, let's look at the pros and cons. We'll start with the pros. This team makes crit stats optional. So if you don't have crit artifacts or don't have enough crit artifacts, this team focuses on many different stats, so it lessens the burden on finding artifacts on one particular stat or substats. The strength of the team is also not non-reliant on any one solo character. In fact, it's actually the sum of the whole team. Okay, so what this means is that when we don't have enough elemental mastery and you upgrade this artifact and suddenly it adds a lot of energy recharge, you can just dump it onto the person, the character that requires energy recharge. And vice versa, if you're farming for attack percent or crit in another character and you just get a bunch of elemental mastery, well, you just dump it on Sucrose and you got yourself a nice team. However, with entry-level artifacts that are not fully optimized, this team is generally not good for single-target boss fights, especially if you don't have Shogun, because Shogun, the reason why I have her in my team is because she deals quite a lot of damage by herself, and that makes her very good against bosses. Also, Hydro is not a popular element, and many of us might have just ditched Hydro characters like Barbara. And also, many of us require Xingqiu in a lot of other teams, like the national team with Xiangling. So there's a chance that you might not have a leveled Hydro character by now. Okay, finally I'd like to end off this video with some additional tips for budget teams. So you can use the Thrilling Tales of Dragon Slayers. It's a book, it's a catalyst. You can use it on Mona, Barbara, Sucrose to support teams like the Taser teams or even those main DPS teams. So you just got to remember to swap from the person holding the Thrilling Tales to the unit that you want to deal the damage with. Also, another equipment that is very useful is the 4-piece Noblesse Oblige. So it can be absolutely under-leveled, and it works on supports in a hyper carry team, because your other support units, they are just not meant to be doing damage. So you can just have a 4-piece Noblesse Oblige holder, and then you just need to swap into your main DPS within the next few seconds of using the elemental burst. Okay, and lastly, since you need 2 teams for Abyss, you can use maybe one budget team and one non-budget team, or you can use 2 budget teams. So you can use maybe one Taser team, one modified Taser team, because currently the Spiral Abyss Floor 12 requires a lot of boss fighting and single target units. And you can maybe use the other team, you can use a hyper carry team. And yeah, so 2 budget teams definitely can work. I've cleared the Abyss many times with 2 budget teams. And yeah, very importantly, right, this works better than having one good team and one lousy team. So you have one super invested team that can clear the first half in 30 seconds, but one lousy team that can't do anything, can't hold its own. So the purpose of budget teams is not to carry your Spiral Abyss, but is to hold their own. So the budget team has to clear the half of the Abyss in a reasonable amount of time that is comparable to a non-budget team but might not beat it because you just don't invest uh, as much resources in it, so naturally it won't be as good. Okay, with that, I'll end off the video here. I hope you guys have learned something today with regards to budget team building and some tips and tricks to optimizing your damage without spending excessive resources in Genshin Impact. So all the best with the Spiral Abyss. It's ending in a few days time. And please share this video if you found it helpful.
Like, comment, subscribe.